Welcome to the Legends in Detail podcast with your host, or one of your hosts, Corey Hathaway. We also got Sam Hoffman. What's up, Sam?
What's up, Corey?
And we got Eric Flores back in the building again, 2 for 2.
How's it going, guys?
It is moving. No, it's been pretty slow.
We had a little technical hiccup
Yes, we did.
to start off the night, but we're working through it.
Yeah, finally getting over that.
At one point, we were considering bringing a car battery in here.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if you were like messing around or not. And I was like,
I
is he
couldn't either.
fucking with us? Or like, he's just mentioning taking 8 batteries and stuff. I'm like, what? Like,
Then he
what
went
is he
outside to his car. I thought he was bringing the battery back.
Yeah. But today we're talking about D Wade, who, by my estimation, is what, the 3rd greatest shooting guard ever?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think we're all in agreement there.
Where's
the first.
Where's
Dude, I
the?
stole your list.
That's all right.
Can't believe
Actually-
Sam agreed with us. This
Yeah, I
time.
know. Actually, I had a few things I
Dude,
wanted.
what's
to...
the fun in all three of us agreeing?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I got a few things I wanted to go over here. Let me see if I can find it. I got a couple trivia questions that I wrote down.
Ooh.
Okay, so when you think of
Read
people,
them all wrong.
That's right.
when you think of people who have outright led their team in points, assists, and rebounds in a playoff series, there are 3 people who have done that. Who are they, and how many times do they do that?
LeBron every
Yeah, it
year.
was LeBron, yeah.
He's
Every
number
time.
1 on the list. So
Yeah.
Larry Bird did it for
Giannis?
5 times. He led his teams in
Giannis
points.
with the assists, though.
Yeah,
He was
Oh.
passing.
he's not on this list. He might be now. I don't know if he is now. He's got to be now, right?
He
There's
was
who?
hooping.
Well, no, Drew Holiday got more assists, bro. Drew Holiday.
He was getting buckets.
Oh,
Well,
I
defense.
was so happy. I thought for sure he was about to flop. It was crazy. So Larry Bird did it 5 times, where he led his teams in points, assists, and rebounds in a playoff series. Tim Duncan did it 6 times.
Dwyane Wade when Mario Chalmers was his point guard.
Nah, LeBron has done it 20 times.
Hmm.
So that ain't even like remotely close. Here's LeBron's
20
numbers.
games or 20? Oh,
No,
yeah.
20 playoff series that
See?
he's led his team in points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah,
That's a lot. I didn't even realize he had 20 series in him already.
exactly. This is LeBron's playoff performance. Oh, no, this is his performance against 65-plus win teams in the NBA Finals. 32.5 points per game, 12.2 rebounds per game, 8.9 assists on 44% shooting. You know what Jordan's is? Doesn't exist. He never played a team that won 65 games in the finals.
Dude, imagine where Russell Westbrook would be if he actually made the playoffs.
Imagine what LeBron's assist would be if he had someone who could make a shot.
Dog.
All things to
Yeah.
ponder.
Well, honestly, I think he kind of waited too late to play like the Magic Johnson role. Like, he was always a great passer, but really in the latter half of his career is when he was like, all right, yeah, no, I can actually dominate a game by just passing.
Can do that for another 10 years.
Yeah, he really can. NBA players in the last 50 years with 8 or more 40-point games in one playoff run, there's been one player, LeBron. That's the end of the list. Oh, I'm telling you, man. No, you know why I'm doing this? I'm doing this
Because you
purely.
want to stroke LeBron.
What you
No.
saw on Facebook
LeBron's
the other
a
day?
Dog, this Giannis shit is getting out of it. Look, I love Giannis. I do.
I think he's
Honest to
great.
God, right now, he's my second favorite player behind LeBron. That's how strongly I feel. Pump the break. I didn't even watch the last game because I knew Mark Jackson. I knew he's the greatest. Dude, Mark Jackson
He's getting
said,
bad.
dude, when in Game 7 when Philly played the Raptors and Kawhi hit that crazy shot, Mark Jackson during that, I believe it was during that game, said Joel Embiid. That was like 3 years ago. He said Joel Embiid is one of the greatest big men of all time. He had been playing for like 2 full seasons
Can't
at that
play on the
point.
court.
How can you say that? Oh, you know how many great big men there have been in this game? You can't. Mark Jackson, man. And now with this whole Giannis stuff, I'm hearing stuff. He's the most successful 26-year-old of all time. That's not even true. Tim Duncan at 26 had 2 regular season MVPs, 2-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Defense. This dude, I understand you like Giannis, but you don't have to just lie. Like, Giannis is great. Giannis, when it's all said and done, will probably be top 10 all time. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, he probably will be.
Especially if he can get a jump shot.
Yeah, if he can get a jump, it's over if he gets a jump shot. So it's like, I get it. Giannis is great, but pump the brakes a little before you start putting them over. I don't get it. I just don't. I feel bad for CP though.
I did too.
Yeah, I was rooting for CP.
I'm surprised he didn't at least shake their hands at the end. He just walked right off.
He walked right off, dude. He's broken.
Damn.
He was broken hearted. And then Devin Booker, when they showed him being like, damn. Dude, DeAndre Ayton, the moment was too big. Like, you can tell he didn't want to be out there. Dog, my man Chris Middleton, though. Chris Middleton came alive. I was so proud of him. I saw another stat, too, I want to throw at y'all. Because 2021 playoffs. Middleton averaged 24, 8, and 5. Holiday averaged 18, 9, and 6. Lopez averaged 13, 6, and 2 throughout the playoffs. 2013 playoffs. Dwyane Wade averaged 16, 5, and 5. Bosh averaged 12, 8, and 2. Ray Allen, averaged 10, 3, and 1. Don't give me this super team mess. Giannis, yeah, exactly. That's people
Wow.
don't remember those series the correct way. They're like, oh, he had Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh. He should have won 5. No, Dwyane Wade was old at this point. In 2013, Dwyane Wade was past his prime. And Chris Bosh, I don't even know if Chris Bosh had a prime, if I'm
He
being
just
real.
stood in 3-point line. In
What do
the
you mean
corner.
Chris Bosh didn't have a prime?
Well, by the time he got like 30, he had blood clots. So we didn't really get to see the best Chris Bosh.
His best days were in the
And
corner.
besides,
I
he held back.
he did hold
team.
back. You're right. Like his prime, he had his best statistical years were probably with
Toronto by far.
Yeah, and he had to hold back when he went to Miami. But I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they needed Chris Bosh to be, he was that. I mean, he probably could have been a better rebounder. 8 rebounds and you're 7 foot. That's not getting it done. But
He stayed on the perimeter a little bit.
yeah,
I don't think 8 rebounds is terrible for the style that he played.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wish he would have been. When I was watching him, I remember thinking, like, he's soft.
Plus,
But
you gotta.
then I met Kevin Love. Now I realize what soft really is.
and you got Dwyane Wade and LeBron. They're getting their rebounds.
Yeah. And they're two of the best rebounders at their position.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
like, yeah. It's a gang rebounding party.
Yeah.
But anyways, had to get that off my chest because that's been weighing on me heavy.
I can tell.
Yeah. Dwyane Wade's career averages 22.0 points per game. Basically 5 and 5. 4.7 rebounds, 5.4 assists. I was a little surprised 22 points was a little bit lower than what I thought it would be. But he had
It's the end of the career.
Yeah, he had a couple seasons where it was like, dude, hang it up.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
That
really,
Cleveland year was tough.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really. I mean, he was still averaging double digits. The
Yeah.
whole career, right?
but to me, it's like at that point, you're not, you're not what you used to be. You can't lead a team anymore, and your legacy is pretty much submitted. So
Yeah, and
it's
it's
like,
not like those Miami teams or even the other teams that he was on were really had a chance.
It's more about efficiency that way too.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was taken with the 5th pick overall to Miami. That draft is probably one of the greatest drafts. It's either because it's got LeBron, Melo, Chris Bosh, D Wade, then it drops off a cliff after that. But I mean, that draft has to be one of the
It's
greatest
top
drafts.
heavy. It's
Yeah.
like
That's how
maybe
we
the
beat
most
drafted.
top heavy draft.
I'm pretty sure Kirk Heinrich came in that draft.
I think he did.
He was a beast. I liked him. He was a good defender. Okay, so everyone.
Chris Paul wasn't in that draft. Was
No, I think it was the year after.
He was older. Yeah.
he? Okay.
Yeah.
Or later.
But everyone remembers LeBron going number 1. Who went number 2?
Was it the Pistons?
Yeah, Pistons
Dude, I just
really.
looked on your list and I
Yeah,
know the answer.
dude, Pistons really shit the bed on this one. son.
Darko.
Darko Milicic. Melo went 3. Chris Bosh went 4. D Wade went 5. Let's be real. D Wade should have went number 2 in that draft. I mean, now that knowing what we know.
2020 hindsight.
Yeah. And then Chris Kaman went number 6. I remember watching him play. He wasn't.
Clippers.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't good, but he wasn't.
He wasn't a
Yeah.
bum.
Yeah, he wasn't a bum. Yeah. So I mean, they pretty much got this draft right, except for Dwyane Wade. Everyone else, Darko could have probably went somewhere, but yeah, it wasn't great. Career, he's a 48% shooter, 3-point percentage is 29.3% per his career. Here's the thing, though.
That's not
Anyone that's watched Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Wade has even said, like, he can shoot threes. He just doesn't shoot threes.
What?
That's literally what Dwayne Wade said. He was like, I can shoot threes. I just don't shoot threes.
I chose to
Sounds like
shoot
Ben
29% for my career.
Yeah, like,
what does that mean?
I don't know. I feel like I remember him hitting threes like early in his career, and then he like
29% of them,
stopped.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Yeah,
lot.
Well, I remember he wasn't much of a shooter.
Yeah, I remember him breaking threes. I remember
Mid-range
him
was
killing mid-range.
Yeah, he
and
had
then
the
just
mid-range.
As soon as he stepped
That's the only
back.
reason why he's at 48 is in 3-pointers.
Yeah. Then free throw percentage 76.5%. So he was an all right
It's not too
free
bad.
throw. Yeah, that's not bad. 3-time champ though.
Dude, 2006, like
One of the
that
greatest
is a
finals
hell-
performances
that
of
is
all
a
time.
Hell of a championship to have to.
It is. There's a little bit of controversy with that championship though.
What's that?
Yeah, why is that?
In Game 5, Dwayne Wade took 25 free throws, more than the whole Mavericks team combined. And this was during. This is during with Tim Donahue.
Okay.
This is right in the prime.
Well, can you point to specific fouls that looked like completely
There
ridiculous?
were. I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched like a compilation of like some of the foul calls that were questionable. There were some tough ones to say the least. There were some tough ones when you're like, that's being called. But then again, you could go back and watch any finals. Dude, the way LeBron would get guarded in those finals, Andre Iguodala was pretty much just. He was a coach.
Yeah, I mean,
they
they
just don't
happen
call it.
as
Yeah.
much as they allow.
What was the record at Game 5? Who was up? Or was it tied 2-2?
I believe it was 2-2. Yeah, it was actually because the Mavericks won the first 2 games. They blew them out. Like everyone thought it was over. And then so the story is Shaq was there, right? He got there in
Kinda.
05. And Shaq was getting like triple team down low. And after the game, they're playing terrible. And after the game, they was in the locker room and it was like, Shaq, we need you to be Shaq. He was like, won't you do something? he just got completely
Classic
upset.
Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq was like, hey,
Get
they're
on my
triple
face.
teaming me. Won't you do something? Huh? Gary? No, he's talking about Gary Payton. Gary Payton was averaging 2 points on that finals team.
Jesus.
God darn. But he
Was
won
that
a
his
ring.
last year?
Yeah, it was his last year, I
Yeah.
believe. Won a ring and then retired.
Hmm.
But so Dwayne Wade went out.
The sunset.
He went out in that 2006 finals, and Game 3, 42-13, Game 4, 36, Game 5, 43, Game 6, 36.
Mm.
His average is 34.7 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game, 2.7
And when
steals.
it was time to take the series, he just started averaging 40 points.
Yep,
The last 4 games.
that Game 3, that one's the one where Dallas. I feel like they were like, okay, they were up 13 in the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left. And then Dwayne Wade happened. And I bet you Dirk Nowitzki, that's what he thinks about is that game.
Mhm.
Because they
He got
had
his
that
revenge.
series in the back. Oh, yeah. No, he got more. Dude, talk about one of the greatest playoff runs that like no one even talks about. He beat Kobe Bryant off of a championship. That was in 2011, and that was right after they won the ring. And everyone thought they were going to be the favorites to go back. Well, Miami Heat, but then they beat Kobe, swept them. He beat Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. I think James Harden was on that team at that point.
I think
Yeah, he
so.
was. He beat them. Then he beats the Miami Heat. And this is
Spurs, too.
prime Dwayne Wade. And he beat the Spurs. One of the greatest playoff runs that never gets talked about. Dude, that team was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
They were just old guys, just like the last, every bit of energy they had. They're like, dude, we're Jason Kidd's out there, can't even drive anymore, just shooting threes, knocking them down.
Dude, that's why he ended up, like 3rd all time?
Yeah. And the crazy thing about Jason Kidd is they used to call him Asen Kidd. He had no J.
Oh,
And then-
God.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you shoot enough,
Yeah, if you shoot enough, you'll get it.
make it on the list.
Yeah. So 3-time champ, 2006, which we just talked about. 2012, 2013, back-to-back with Bron on the team. 2006 Finals MVP. 2010 All-Star MVP.
Ooh.
He's 30th in points all-time, 23,165 points. 30th in steals all-time at 1,620 steals.
I didn't realize how good of a defender he was till I started like rewatching it. He has a lot of blocks and steals.
I
Who,
would
he?
say he's the best blocking guard ever.
Yes,
I think so.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I don't think he's a better on-ball defender than Michael Jordan was, or really even Kobe was a damn good defender.
Is there
Kobe
an
was on
argument to be made that Dwyane Wade is the most athletic shooting guard of all time?
For his size, maybe, but Jordan was
Yeah.
pretty athletic.
I mean, it's obviously between. It's got to be between
Jordan
Wade.
and Dwyane Wade.
He's
Yeah,
up there.
there's an
He's
argument.
definitely. Up
I can
there.
definitely see why people. Dude, I was watching it today, like young Dwyane Wade before the knees started. Oh my God, he was unbelievable. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
he had that cool factor too.
He doesn't have quite the height and the build that LeBron has, but he has every bit the athleticism.
Yeah,
or at least, sorry, not as long as LeBron has had his athleticism. His Dwyane Wade's tailed off earlier.
It kind of sucked. Like I feel like Dwyane Wade had more left.
Yeah,
I feel like he did too. I feel like he dropped off a bit early.
His knees, dude. During those finals runs where they went to 4 straight championships, dude, he was having to get his knees drained like every series. It was bad. That tendonitis or whatever. Because I don't think he ever tore anything.
I don't think he had anything major either.
No, it was just that tendonitis, dude.
Mm.
I just think he was born with bad knees. Some people are, and it sucks because after 2011, you could tell a decline. Like he was not. He didn't have that quick first step to way after 2011. Because in 2011, I was like, dude, he might be the best player on this team. Because LeBron was in that finals he was nowhere to be found. So it's like, dude, Dwyane Wade's the best player on this team. And then the next year, it was like, oh no, it's definitely LeBron, and Dwyane Wade is for sure number 2. But it was just.
That wasn't even 10 years in, was it?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, 2003 they came. But you got to figure though, Dwyane Wade also spent 2 years in college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Marquette.
Yeah, he was like 29 when they got together, and LeBron was like 27. So it was.
So
he had a lot of miles plus Olympics and all
Olympics.
that stuff
Yeah.
too.
Melo won the national championship in college. I think the year before they got drafted.
Syracuse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dwyane Wade made it to a Final Four.
Yeah, so that's
It's a small, you want to expect
that's
Marquette,
a star-studded Final Four.
He actually got offered. Well, he got interest from a lot of schools, but his grades were so bad that only Marquette would touch him.
Mm.
And then he went to Marquette, and I think he kept a 3.0 GPA or something like that after that. So he was. And you listen to him, and he's intelligent. Like he's.
Yeah, I mean that kind of surprises me.
Is it fair to say
He didn't need grades, man.
No, he didn't. Is it fair to say the best passing shooting guard of all time?
I think that is fair to say.
Dwyane Wade had the vision.
I think that's fair to say.
He had the vision, and I mean, you look at other shooting. I mean, James Harden's not a bad passer.
No, he's
more of a point guard, kind of. though.
Yeah,
honestly, man, like I would kind of consider James Harden more of a point guard. I know that he's always listed as a shooting guard, and his height says that he's a shooting guard, but he plays point guard, doesn't he? I mean, he brings the ball up the court every single possession.
I might be biased, but Ginobili was pretty good at passing as well.
He was. That's a good call. That's very true.
He was pretty good at highlights.
Ginobili,
those fancy European.
But he'd also lose you a game or two as well.
He'd miss a free throw. He was good though. He's underrated. I think a lot of people forgot about him, but at one point in time, Ginobili was like that 2007 finals. Ginobili, I remember watching him going like, why can't anyone stop him?
Ginobili only ever averaged 4.9 assists. That actually surprises me a little bit.
It's that bench.
Yeah.
I
He
know
only got up to like 30 minutes per game.
a part of him has to be pissed that Pop kept him on the bench all those years. He's like, man, I should be starting over Bruce Bowen now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. I mean,
It's almost like Pop does that to like just fuck with him sometimes.
He does a lot of players like that.
Dude,
like Rudy
Steven
Gay's been
Jackson?
starting. Well, he should have been starting.
Yeah, Steven Jackson, he kicked him off the team, and it's like, bro, Steven Jackson could still ball at that point. Like he was, and you want a guy like that on your team in the finals.
Do you think if the United States basketball team continues to shit the bed in the Olympics, that impacts Popovich's?
I've already think Pop stuck around too long as it is.
I mean, dude, we've lost like, and I know France is a good team. I'm not trying to say France isn't a good team, but
They're not on our level. None of those teams are on our
Does
level.
he pick the?
I mean, I think they are on our level. I think we're clear favorites, but like it's not like
Name the other player other than Rudy Gobert on that France team.
Who was the dude who hit the big three towards
Evan
the end?
Fournier?
Yeah,
Was that
Eric Fournier.
Eric Fournier. What NBA team does he play for?
I don't know, man.
Boston.
You
That's
know
my
what?
point.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No,
I feel
it's
like-
bad coaching, and then also these players. I
don't mix
don't think
well.
they want to be there. I mean, it just doesn't seem like they.
Does Nick Batum not play for the French team?
He wouldn't be much of a help if he did.
You don't think
No,
so?
he was balling in the
pretty good.
playoffs.
He's
Not
still
with the
good.
Hornets.
He was
Yeah.
just screwing the Hornets over.
He really
just wanted
was,
that
dude.
paycheck.
Fuck Nick Batum.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm actually happy for him, man. I'm happy because I thought it was over. Everyone did,
He
and
can rot in hell.
yeah, man. Well, he did take a
stole
lot of money.
$120
Yeah,
million.
He
dude.
did.
You know,
He
Michael
stole.
Jordan was just on the bench. Just
He was like,
I
I'm going to
hate
play
that.
just well enough to get a really big contract, a long contract, and then just screw the Hornets over for 5 years. Fuck that guy.
He wasted his career, honestly. He wasted a couple of years on that bench.
Yeah, he did. He probably weren't too upset about it when the check came in every 15 days.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't know, man. I don't know. They don't have a big man. That's not good. You need a big man. I think the game's more physical now. They're not getting calls that they used to get. And the developing worlds have gotten better, but dude, Damian Lillard and Kevin Durant on the same
Yeah.
team, it shouldn't even be a question. They need leadership, man.
Nick Batum is on the team.
He is, okay.
Okay, well, see, that's my point right there. Is Nick Batum? I mean, we should be. It shouldn't even be a.
You're right. Like the top two that you just named, Dame and KD,
Mhm.
like
And
those
Devin
two
Booker's
guys.
there.
Those two guys are clearly the best two. Well, sorry, Luka. Those two guys and Luka. Name anybody else? Like who else?
Luka's
is
playing for
the-
Czechoslovakia, where's he from?
Slovenia?
Slovenia, yeah.
Slovenia.
Yeah, so he's playing there. But like we don't have right now our big man is Kevin Love and Bam Adebayo. And Bam Adebayo is like 6'8". So it's like, and Kevin Love is a soft 6'10". So it's like, yeah, what are we doing? Do we want to win? Like, is this what basketball is? Like, we're just gonna shoot threes and not play defense at all?
I saw a clip where there was a guy on the ground, and it was 4-on-5, and they just jacked up threes and missed all of them.
Yeah,
Like, they won't even attempt to go to the rim.
yeah. It's not good. Did you see Kevin Durant and Bam Adebayo get into it?
No, I missed that.
No, dude. Like, Kevin Durant made a shot, and I guess there's like some unspoken rule where if you make the shot, you got to get that ball back. You can't get another ball. Like, it's got to be that ball. And Kevin Durant, like in front of reporters and stuff, was trying to. He was like, "Nah, man, that's my ball." You know, and they got into a little
Like
bit.
they're in shoot around?
Yeah, and then
Oh.
Kevin Durant went on Twitter and was like, "Y'all make a story out of anything," and then Bam was like, "Nah, you tried to sun me." Or something. I like Bam, dude. He's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we're as bad as we are. And
Do we have any big men who aren't foreign anyway?
Yeah, dude, Anthony Davis.
Well, yeah.
He should be playing. I don't
He's
know
probably
why he's
still
not
hurt.
out there.
Is he still hurt?
He said he streams on Twitch, and I was listening to him, and he said someone wrote a question to him, like asking how he's doing. He's like, "We good." He's like, "We good. We get Brian getting ready." It was so funny. I was trying to. It's so crazy having to defend Anthony Davis, like, because it's so hard because he's injured all the time. But I have to keep on telling people, like, when he's right, this dude is unstoppable when he's right. And every time they're like, "Yeah, but he's never right." And I'm like, I know, but if he is right,
There's a big asterisk.
yeah.
what would you do if you were the Lakers coach? Like, would you limit him to 30 minutes a night and then rest him like a third of the time?
If you're
just
playing
to-
the Kings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're playing a sorry team, like, probably. But honestly, I think like I think the best thing for Anthony Davis. Now, obviously, last year was tough, but in 2020 he played through a lot of stuff, and I think normally he would have shut it down. But when you're next to Bron, you can't just shut it down. And so he played through a lot of those injuries, and I think that was the best. But now this year, the groin and stuff, he couldn't go. But I think he's got to play through those bumps and bruises, especially if you want to be considered one. You can't. I'm sorry, this load, like Kawhi in my mind will never be. Like, I don't care that he's got 2 championships, whatever. One of those rings shouldn't even. I mean, did everyone have to get hurt? And LeBron's been playing them for 5 years. No one gets hurt, and now, oh my God, whatever. Oh, Kevin Durant, now you want to? Okay, but I digress. But no, Kawhi. I mean, the fact the load management stuff. Like, no, dude, you getting paid like an unbelievable amount of money, and it's just like no load management. I'm sorry, like there was no load management back in the 90s and in the early 2000s. This is not. We can't do that. The NBA does not care about the consumer. If they cared about the consumer, these guys would be out there giving it more of their own, because it's kind of crazy. Like, you imagine buying tickets, and most of the people watching these games aren't millionaires. Buying tickets and then Kawhi Leonard doesn't play.
A lot of times you don't know until the day
because of soreness.
I mean, the NBA cares about the consumer, but they don't have all the leverage. The players do have leverage, and the players want to rest. That's the problem.
They do.
It's like if you're the NBA, you're caught in the middle. Like, how do you handle that?
I don't know. Pop started it.
Yeah.
Resting.
So what are they doing right now? Like finding if you're on like a televised game or something like that.
Yeah, they find if you're on television, and the thing though is that you can, like when Anthony Davis, they just make up injury. They're like, he's got a pinky contusion. Like, like they just say stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's that, and then it's like maybe the fine is worth it. Maybe the fine isn't high enough.
It's never high enough. Dude, think about, like, that's the thing about like Kyrie when he was sitting out games for he just didn't show up to the team, and they started fining him, and I was just sitting there thinking, like, why didn't this organization just cut him? Like, I mean, could you imagine just not doing it?
Because he's a very good point guard.
He is. He's one of the best.
Well, if you were the GM, would you seriously cut Kyrie?
If he did not call me and tell me what if he called me and told me what he's doing, and I'd be like, okay, like because you got to say you support him, and so like I didn't. But if he did not call me and just didn't show up, I would like to think that I would cut him, but I know for a fact that someone would be like, "Hey, do not do that."
And you'd be like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, you're right. I guess you're right. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. It just kind of I miss the day. That's why you got to respect someone like a Russell Westbrook, or respect someone like a Michael Jordan. Who did Michael Jordan ever have a game where he just put up 12 points? No. Every time someone came to see him play, he put on a show. And Russell Westbrook does it too, albeit not the best efficiency. Yeah, sometimes not great.
But you get 100%.
But you get 100%. And honestly, you can make the same argument for James Harden too. I don't like James Harden, but when James Harden laces him up, James Harden, fat or not, don't matter. He's giving you buckets tonight. Like, James Harden showed up 20. He showed up 25 pounds overweight, dropped 44 and 17 in the opening game. I'm like, dude, I love this guy. Like, this is a guy who's been drinking and partying all break, does not care, and was just like, dude, I'm about to go and just have the game of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, And I feel like with Kawhi, even when he plays, you could tell sometimes he's not giving the effort.
He doesn't look interested at all.
And it's hard for me. Sometimes it's hard to watch LeBron play because there's plays where you're like, dude, he is not trying at all. And then you remember, he does have the most playoff minutes ever, and also has never missed a playoff game. So I think he's earned a little. You can take a little break off every once in a while, but Kawhi ain't earned it. I don't get it. I don't know how anyone can support that.
He's not even 30 yet, is he?
Yeah, I think he is 30 now.
Should the regular season be shortened?
Yes.
The problem is, like, if I'm LeBron, I would say no, because he only has so many years left, and he's trying to break that scoring record, and you need games. But for anyone else, yeah. for sure. I think once Bron
In the
retires,
interest of LeBron's stats.
in the interest of
No.
him passing Kareem, dude,
Yeah.
if he
But
passes
shorter seasons would
Kareem,
have longer.
It would. You're right. It would fuck up all
Yeah.
future players
It would.
on all time.
But you could last
But
longer.
I mean, you could last long. That's true. That's true.
I don't know
Could
if
you
that
really
is true.
like?
If you take 10 games off, that's another season.
But I mean, it's
Play
not.
8
It's
years
not
or
one.
7 years.
It's not one for one, right? Like if the games were halved, players wouldn't have careers that were twice as long.
That's true.
But
But 10 games can definitely get you another year in the league.
I
for
guess,
sure.
but like, so when they do the load management stuff, a lot of times I don't feel like, I feel like this year, although this year it was pretty clear, like they had too quick of a turnaround. There were so many injuries.
This year was
the
rough.
only two teams that my grandma's calling you, the only two teams that made it to the finals were the ones that stayed healthy. You know, everyone else was banged up. So you don't want to see that happen.
It's happened a lot recently, too.
It has. Every finals in the last however many years is all been injuries or like people missing games. So it just kind of sucks. I hate to see that happen. I like to see teams at their full strength. 13-time All-Star though, Dwyane Wade. It's pretty good.
Good transition there.
Yeah, you like that?
I was wondering if we were going to talk about Dwyane Wade.
Yeah. 13-time
I forgot.
All-Star. I did too. Where's he ranked? Okay, so this is a good one. Shooting guard, I think we can both agree. Third greatest shooting guard. I mean, I mean, you got to go Jordan at 1, Kobe at 2, and then D Wade at 3. And honestly, when I was looking over it, I mean, it was close between Kobe and Dwyane Wade. Like, it wasn't as far as I thought it was. Like, Dwyane Wade was like that 2009 season. It was arguable that he was
really though.
But Kobe
Really,
did that
really?
every year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's that close. It might be closer between Kobe and Wade than Kobe and Jordan. For
Yeah.
sure. I would definitely agree with that. But
Yeah, I think so. But it just kind of like, I feel like for Dwyane Wade, one of the problems is he came in the same draft as LeBron, and then Kobe was in his prime, and then Kevin Durant came in 2007,
overshadowed.
and
Absolutely.
overshadowed. Because if he'd have been born in a different era, imagine if he'd been born in or played in the 90s, it would have been Jordan and Dwyane Wade battling head to head, and who knows what would have happened then? Because Dwyane Wade's a killer.
Yeah, I mean,
That would have been fun to watch.
That would have been amazing, dude.
you could have assembled super teams around Dwyane Wade as opposed to the super team that they had where D Wade was the number 2.
Yeah.
And they would have won championships, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Like he got, not only was he drafted in the same class as Melo and LeBron, but LeBron was on his team. Chris Bosh was on his team, even taking, it's hard to, his career stats would have been much higher, I think, if it weren't for
Taking the
those
back
super
seat.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think for him, it kind of masked his injury too. Because like
Yeah.
when his stats started to decline a little bit, everyone's like, "Oh, what's wrong with Dwyane Wade?" And then it's like, "Well, no, I'm number 2 now." But I think Dwyane Wade's knees were, especially in those playoff runs, dude. They were making him miss games and stuff. Like I didn't think he sat out a couple playoff games as well. Like he was in bad shape.
I mean, that's a lot of games in 4 straight years.
Okay, so
LeBron did it 10 years in a row?
yeah, I don't want to ask you where he ranks all time because no one knows. But he's a top 50 player of all time, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Top 45,
Yes.
Yeah.
top 40,
Yes.
top 35.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know where the cutoff
I
is.
would say he's somewhere between 25 and 30.
He's top 10 in our lifetime, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
In this era, he's top 10.
I'd have to make a top 50 list to be able to
Yeah.
just like ring that off the top of my head.
ESPN, I think, had him between 25 and 30 is where I think they had him. And I was like,
I could see that.
yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, he's third greatest shooting guard ever. I didn't see anyone on the list over him where I was like, but I feel like a lot of times people forget just how, like he didn't have the big farewell tour that like Kobe had and stuff. And I think a lot of times, especially people younger than us, they didn't get to see prime Dwayne Wade. Like they didn't get to see that Dwayne Wade that was dunking on Anderson Varejao.
Mhm.
Like, it was one of the greatest highlights. The one on Kendrick Perkins too was just that was
Nasty.
amazing. God, it made me so happy. I hated Kendrick Perkins.
And those blocks too. He blocked
Yeah.
a lot of big
Yeah,
men.
he blocked Braun a couple times too when they matched up.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I would like to think he's between 25 and 30. I'd have to sit out and make a list though, and that's the thing. It's so hard. It's
There's
so
so many
hard
big
judging.
men from back in the day too. That
Yeah. Dog, when you start looking at the Wilt Chamberlain records, you're like, all right, well, I don't know what to do with him.
Right.
Like, I mean, how can you?
Dude, can we do a Wilt episode?
Yeah, dude, we're gonna have to do a Wilt
Can we
episode. I'm
just
sick
do
of
it?
waiting, dude.
Yeah, we're not gonna get 100
Yeah,
subscribers.
dude, we're never getting 100. Yo, we went up 2 subscribers though. We're at 26 now. We're balling.
Yeah, it's a long way to 100.
Yeah, long way to
My
100.
niece.
For
that
sure,
was Eric's niece.
Yeah.
There you go.
I for sure overestimated how easy it would be to get 100 subscribers. Turns out it's really hard. So yeah, that's where we are now.
How are we on like?
Yeah, hey guys, why don't you spread the word a little bit? I feel like we're not getting the support from our fan base that we should.
We
be
work
getting.
hard on this.
We work damn hard. We put in let's see.
Let's not get crazy.
8 episodes. That's like 10 hours of podcast footage.
I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna say that it's on us. Our
Nah,
product.
dude, fuck our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade in the playoffs though, 22.3 points per game, 5-5. So he played a little bit better in the playoffs. A lot of that had to do with 06 though. 06, son, he was an animal. When he came in 2003, 5th pick, 16.2 points per game, 4-4. 2004, 2005 to get Shaq, 24, 5-6. So by his second year in the league, I mean, he's pretty much Flash at that point. Shaq gave him the nickname Flash, by the way. Dude, Shaq
has
given the best
most
nicknames.
The GOAT.
Yeah, the best.
It's unbelievable how good his nicknames are, and they never go away. Most people give a nickname and it like sticks for a year. This dude, when he gives a nickname, it's for life.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense because he was quick.
Yeah.
God, he was fast. 05, 06, that's the championship year. 27.2 points per game, 5-6. They go on win the ring. 2006, 2007, 27.4 points per game, 4-7. That's 7's assists, by the way. 2007, 2008, 24.6, 4-6. And then 2008, 2009, arguably his best year, 30.2, 5-7. And that's the year he probably got robbed out of the MVP. They gave it to LeBron, but Dwayne Wade, he was averaging more points, led his team to the playoffs. And LeBron's team did have a better record. LeBron still put up some amazing stats too, but
You know what LeBron's stats were?
I don't know. Can you
What
look
year?
them up? 2009. Look up LeBron 2009 stats. I know that his team won like 60-some games, so that's why they gave it to him. But Dwayne Wade led his team to the playoffs, man.
Yeah, it's hard to average 30.
It is.
It's really hard to average 30. Let's see. Give me game stats, career stats. 2009, 29.7 points, 50% shooting, 7.3 rebounds, and 8.6 assists.
Okay, so LeBron deserved that MVP.
He was deserving
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, he was. Deserving.
Well, when you read the
But
stats off like
it's
that,
one
yeah.
of those. It's one of those bad timing things.
Yeah,
for Dwayne. Like,
yeah.
if Dwayne would have had that year timed correctly, he would have won it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I remember that very clearly, and I was thinking to myself like, Dwayne Wade kind of deserves this MVP. Like I was thinking that in my head. So it's like, but when you just read those stats off, like it makes sense why LeBron got it.
Yeah.
2009, 2010. This is the last year before Bron and Chris Bosh come to town. 26.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Then LeBron and Chris Bosh show up. I watched an interview Dwayne Wade did, and when they became free agents, Dwayne Wade had got bounced out of the first round a couple times, and he was sick of it. He did an interview after they lost to Boston in 5 games. And it was like Dwayne Wade, well, I'm sure they was like, Dwayne, what do you want to do in this offseason? And he said, I guarantee you I'm not getting bounced out of the first round again. After that, LeBron calls him, says, what are you doing? And Dwayne Wade at that time was looking at Chicago as a answer.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, with D Rose and Carlos Boozer, and they had Jimmy Butler. Like,
dude,
that was sick.
Man, that would have been sick.
And Bron was thinking about it too.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
I was wanting him to go,
Yeah.
like when he had his big decision thing.
Yeah,
I
that
wanted
was
to go
so
to
lame.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I watched the whole thing. Like,
Dude, it was for the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah.
The fuck it was.
But
No, it wasn't. It was for LeBron.
Eventually, they were like, well, why don't we team up together? And then they brought in Chris Bosh. And they formed what was, they label it as the first super team. But in reality, there were super teams before that. But this was the first one where guys had actively tried to, like, get together.
And let's face it, like, based on what we knew about these three players going in, this was the most superstar dense team that had ever existed.
Yeah, because both of them were top 5 players. Chris Bosh,
Chris Bosh was still a superstar, though.
He was a superstar, but he wasn't a top 5. He was top 10.
Perennial all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 10. Like,
top
that's
10,
a superstar.
And, so they team up. The problem is, though, because I went back and watched quite a bit of Miami LeBron, because that's probably my favorite version of LeBron is Miami LeBron. And I don't know, though. The second running in Cleveland was pretty good, too.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, that 2016 and 2018, unstoppable. But when I went back and watched it, at times they had Joel Anthony and Udonis Haslem on the court at the same time with LeBron. The spacing back then, dude, you would never play those two in a finals game. They had Udonis Haslem and Joel Anthony on the court at the same time in the paint.
Tough to have
dude,
him.
it was... Yeah, it was like, I don't even know. You look back at, they didn't have a point guard. They didn't have a center.
Birdman.
They didn't have a bench. Yeah, like, I don't.
Tattoos of all time.
I get that they had LeBron and D Wade, but man, and Chris Bosh, but man, after that, it was not good. And then, but when they got Ray Allen, oh yeah, Mike, that was the thing that they always had. That was the only time in LeBron's career where he's had a dude just waiting to hit a clutch three. Like every other place he's ever been, he's never had that. Like Kyle Korver, you was like clockwork. You knew it was about to be off the second he let go of it. And it's, yeah. Shane
Battier. He
Battier.
came from the Hawks, you know.
Yeah. He was an all-star.
He was younger. He played with AI too back in the day.
He was an all-star.
He was. He shouldn't have got it.
Dude, the Hawks had 4 all-stars.
Wasn't
Five?
it 5? I think the whole starting lineup was.
The NBA should be ashamed of itself that they let Jeff Teague become an all-star.
It wasn't that bad.
That's when we all realized that the regular season doesn't matter in whatever conference that LeBron's in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Because that Hawks team won like 60-some games.
Yeah.
And got swept. And I mean, it was just, dude, you just saw a team just collapse. It was like, whoa.
They just gave up. They're like, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't compete with this guy.
Yeah.
So the year LeBron gets there, he averages 25.5, 6, and 4. So I mean, the numbers are still amazing. To have LeBron, and Dwayne Wade still averaged. To have LeBron on your team, you're still putting up 25.
Yeah.
That's I mean, but at that
time,
it
goes to show that, like, I mean, you can clearly see Chris Bosh. Like Chris Bosh's numbers were incredible, elite with Toronto, but there was a clear drop off.
Yeah.
Dwayne, not so much. It goes to show you that he was much more on par with LeBron.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure, too, at that time, LeBron had flame out in the playoffs, right? 2010, he had that weird game where he wasn't as engaged. That was the game Delonte West, you know.
What?
That's the rumor.
Talk about his mom?
That's the rumor, is that LeBron had to be sedated after that game because he found out Delonte West was with his mama. And,
sedated.
Yeah, like he had to be like
true.
I don't know, but if you go back and watch that series, LeBron still put up amazing. He had like 29 and 17. It's not like he didn't show up, but in the fourth quarter, you're like, what? He checked out. Like something happened, and I'd be curious to. I wish there was a way that he would admit it. You know, he never would, but I wish he would. But the thing is, though, is that LeBron at that time hadn't won anything. Dwayne Wade already had a Finals MVP with Shaq on his team. and he was the best player on the court. And so when LeBron went to Miami, at least the media thought like, oh, Dwayne Wade is the real Batman because Dwayne Wade has to teach LeBron how to win. And that whole first season, there was a lot of, okay, you took 2 shots, let me take a shot. There was a lot of that. And they were so good that it masked a lot of the problems they had, but when it got in the finals, the problems arose, and it was not good. It was a epic collapse. Still hurts to this day.
I can feel the pain.
No, it was
your
brutal.
voice.
We can see
It
it in your
was.
eyes.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I don't think I've slept right since then. If I'm being honest. Yeah, because I had I had 2 family members that were just ruthless. Would not leave me alone about it. Ha, they lost. I'm like, no, I thought I was gonna.
About to fight your family.
Yeah, dude, I was so upset. I could not believe that they collapsed because they had that series. It was in the bag. They should have been up 3-0. Whatever. But Dirk played amazing in that series. And honestly, looking back on it now, I'm glad Dirk got a ring. He deserved it. If anyone deserved a ring, because Dirk had he had some epic collapses. Dude, the We Believe Warriors, Monte Ellis once said he was on the same level as Dwayne Wade. Oh, son. Monte Ellis.
He had a good year.
He had a couple
he was good, but you know.
I love how
talking about Dwayne Wade.
They drafted Steph Curry, and Monte was like, "Hey, it's still my team." And they were like, "Oh, Monte, sorry, you're out of here."
Yeah.
But so,
do you remember that Monte Ellis Steph Curry backcourt?
Yeah, I do.
Vaguely.
Honestly, I mean,
It was fun to
wasn't
watch.
bad.
Fun to watch.
Yeah.
That was Steph. They both kind of played point.
Yeah.
/ shoot. Like they were both combo.
Yeah, they're both combo guards, pretty much. 2012, 2013, his numbers start to dip a little bit. Or no, sorry, 2011, 2012. So he goes from 25 to 22.1 points per game. This is when, after that series, him and LeBron, after that Dallas Mavericks series, they both went to Cabo or wherever they go. And Dwayne Wade said, hey, look, I'm number 2. You're number 1. You got to be the guy to lead us there. Because it was clear that they, the first year there, they didn't know who was going to be the guy, which is crazy now that you think about it. Now that you think about it, it was LeBron the whole time. But in the moment, LeBron hadn't won yet, and there was questions if he could win. LeBron takes the challenge. 2011, 2012, Dwayne Wade drops down to 22.1 points per game, 4-4. They run through the playoffs, win a championship. And that whole playoffs, Dwayne Wade busted up like the whole playoffs. I mean,
which year was when LeBron averaged had like 56% field goal shooting?
That was 2012, 2013, arguably his best year.
Okay, so it was the next year. So.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh's numbers went down that year too, so it wasn't just like he took the load either.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of the Kevin Durant effect. Like the first year the Warriors got together in 2017, it was ball movement. But then the next year, they're like, dude, Kevin Durant is so good that it just became throw the ball to Kevin Durant, let him go to work.
Isn't it weird that they don't figure that out within 82 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Or plus the playoff, like at some point you should be able to figure that out.
You would think.
I mean, I guess you just can't replicate playoff intensity until you get to the playoffs. And then you got to figure it out.
If you got 2 dogs on your team, like 2 guys who absolutely think like I'm the guy, it very rarely like works out. It always looks weird in the clutch. Like every time Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant got in a late game situation, I was like, they're gonna blow it because no one knows who's the guy on this team, and they did. I mean, they were up 3-1 on the Warriors. It was ridiculous.
They had them too.
Yeah, they did. 2012, 2013. He's averaging 21.2, 5-5. They make it all the way to the NBA Finals again. And this was actually, this year they had that streak where they won like 27 games in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then they lost the Chicago. Oh, that was so heartbroken. Because the 30th game would have been against the San Antonio Spurs. So I was like, dude, if we get to that game, it'd be like the biggest regular season game ever. and then they lose to the Chicago Bulls, a team with Nate Robinson as their best player, because Derrick Rose got injured at that point, I believe. But they make it all the way back to the NBA Finals. They go up against the Spurs, one of the best series in the finals probably ever, right? I mean, a 7-game series, every game.
My team lost, but it was very entertaining.
It was, yeah, and y'all had it. I mean, it was signed, sealed, and delivered. I cut off the game. I thought it was over, and I went upstairs to cry. And then my dad calls me and said, "Corey, you might want to get back here."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, this is over. Like, great. Yeah, like the Heat legacy is dead. But a lot of people remember that Game 7. They remember LeBron getting like 37 and 12. But Dwyane Wade got 24 and 10 that game. And I mean, he said after the game, he said, I had to have a talk with my knees. I had to tell him, like, you got one more good game in you. And he showed up and he balled out that game. I think.
How close do you think Dwyane Wade would have been to LeBron on those teams if it weren't for his knees? I feel like he would have been a lot closer.
He would have been closer, but also
until like 2013.
Yeah, I would say after the 2011 season, LeBron hit that was the first time like his physical peak in 2012 is when he came into it. And then in 2013, I think his mind caught up, and it was just like that year where it was like everything just clicks. I don't know. I don't think anyone could touch that 2013 year, other than like Jordan or someone, but not Dwyane Wade.
No, definitely not.
But it would have been close because Dwyane Wade, man, he was clutch too.
It would have been the type of thing where
he had a lot of full court shots.
Full court shot, dude, is crazy.
Yeah,
it was like a show. Every time you watched him, he did something where you're like, whoa. And then after that, 2014, I mean, Dwyane Wade, it was not great. 19-4-4, and I mean, he had clearly by 2014, he was at that point. It was like, is Dwyane Wade a number 2 or is he a number 3 now in the playoffs? Because he was injured. Like those knees, it was just not good. And matter of fact, in the playoffs in 2014, he only averaged 17.8 points per game.
That team was awful, though.
Yeah, it was.
Chalmers. I forgot about Norris Cole.
Yeah, Norris Cole. Isn't that crazy, though? When he's playing with LeBron, everyone's like, Norris Cole, man.
And then he's better than...
Then the second he gets off LeBron's team, it's over.
Yeah, there are many
Mario Chalmers
just like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, James Jones.
I like James Jones.
Jones is pretty good.
Yeah, James Jones come in and hit a clutch 3 if you need it. Yeah, man, those his playoff numbers took a dip. Although in 2016 he averaged 21.4 points per game. I think that was the year they played the Heat or the Hornets, right?
Ah, okay. Dude, Hassan Whiteside.
That was a good series too.
Yeah,
it was.
We're not talking about Game 7.
Yeah, we were up 3-2. I don't want to talk about it. Hassan Whiteside just destroyed us.
Yeah, he did.
Took a big dookie on the entire city.
Not Horford. What's his name? Jefferson got hurt. Al Jefferson.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Dude, yeah, he was.
Al Jefferson, dude. Underrated.
Like plantar fasciitis or something.
Underrated.
He was pretty good.
Post moves, top 10.
Dude, when we were talking about Kobe, we were talking about like the number of pump fakes that somebody takes. Al Jefferson is the only other player who would take like 5 pump fakes.
He can only shoot with his right hand.
Yeah.
So this is kind of interesting. Dwyane Wade and Kobe had a really good friendship, but they also were, whenever they played against each other, they went hard. Dwyane Wade
That's what you love to see.
Yeah, Dwyane Wade broke Kobe's nose in an All-Star game.
Ooh.
Went over the top of him, broke his nose. And after the game, Dwyane Wade calls him, and it's like, hey, Kobe, sorry about that. And Kobe just goes, nah, man, don't worry about it. I love it. And he was like, we're playing you in like a week. He was like, see you then, big fella. And hangs up and drops like 40 on him. Like Kobe, man, he was just different. It is crazy.
Man, I wish I would have went to one of his games.
Yeah,
I never got to see Kobe play.
Was Dwyane Wade, or is he now? Is he overrated, underrated, or just properly rated?
I think he's where he's supposed to be.
I think he's underrated. It's hard to not be underrated when your career is overshadowed by Kobe and LeBron. But he's not underrated by a lot.
No, not by a lot. But
I
I think
think
he is.
underrated his defense.
Yeah,
Yes,
that part
I
gets
agree.
forgotten, but he was the best shot blocking guard in the league for the majority of the league. Okay, so
He was also in a pretty big market too. So
yeah, he was. You know Candace Parker?
yes,
Okay, the WNBA player.
Yeah.
So she met Dwyane Wade at the Emmys, and she's from Illinois, so she was a big Dwyane Wade fan. She met him at the ESPYs, not the Emmys, and she went up to him and she said, "Oh, Dwyane Wade, I like your sidekick," because at that time he had a sidekick commercial. He was big with T-Mobile
the
back then.
phone.
Yeah. The next day at her hotel room, a knock at the door, someone gave her a sidekick from Dwyane Wade. I thought it was pretty cool. He was just like, "Oh, you like the sidekick?" He just got her one right there. How did he? Does he have a guy who's just carrying sidekicks around? Like,
Stalking her, getting her address.
was he born in the right era of basketball?
No.
What era should he have been born in?
Since his 3-shot wasn't there.
I think the
probably.
'90s, right?
90s, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about the guys he was overshadowed by. But
That
you're
too.
right. If he would have played like even in the '80s, man, like wow.
From his sophomore year of high school to his junior year of high school, he grew from 5'7" to 6'2". So he's another one of those guys who had like a
I
huge
wish I would have
jump.
got that.
All the great players, they all had that one year where they just shoot
They
up.
got to develop their guard skills while they
Mhm.
were short, and then they just grew like a tree, and then they were just taller than everybody else, but they still had guard skills. That's the common denominator with all the greatest small forwards and shooting guards is they're all like 6'7" and above, right?
Yeah, I think there's some like
6'6" and above.
some math nerd that's never played basketball came up with a statistic, and he said like if you're below the height of 6'6" and not a great shooter, then you're gonna have a shorter career than if you are 6'6" and above and a great shooter. Like there's some like law that this guy was like every single time if you're under 6'6" and you can't shoot, then you just can't last. And I mean, Dwyane Wade, it kind of shows a little bit because he broke down, like because he was never a great shooter. At best, he was an average shooter.
That was probably because they when you're underneath that height, you base on your athleticism,
Mhm.
which dies down before your shooting ability. I would assume that's what he was going with.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
think.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
So I found this out the other day. I thought this was pretty interesting. This isn't about Dwyane Wade. This is about Kevin Garnett. So Kevin Garnett lost $77 million.
Must be nice to be able to afford to do that.
He made like 300 and some
He's one of
million.
the top
Why-
10,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
all-time
because he
gross.
played, he played so long, and he was born in that era where they were giving guys massive contracts after their first year of playing.
He didn't sign unless he got
Yeah,
got
exactly.
the most.
But he lost 77 million. So Kevin Garnett, something to know about him, he's very loyal. If he is your guy, he will defend you no matter what. Tim Duncan, interestingly enough, went through a divorce. Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett had the same agent. Tim Duncan went through a divorce. Tim Duncan's missing millions of dollars. It's like, where did my money go?
I remember hearing about
So
that.
apparently the agent, Tim Duncan, took him to court. Kevin Garnett goes to court and supports the agent because he's tight with him. He's loyal. Kevin Garnett goes through a divorce. Accountant comes in. Hey, you're missing $77 million. And it was the same agent that took his money. Never got it back.
Hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Jeez.
Dude.
Never be loyal to an agent.
No, never be. Yeah, never be. Okay, here's a good one, too. Who has the most blocks in a playoff game in NBA history?
The most blocks in a playoff game. In the
Is it in our era? Or
Yeah,
no?
it's in our era.
Kevin Garnett.
Mm.
Good guess, though. I like where your head's
Because
at.
we were just talking.
Hold on.
I don't know, man. You gotta tell us.
Is
Andrew
it-
Bynum.
I was
with
never
10.
gonna
No,
guess that.
no, not
With
even
10.
close.
And right, I would have never guessed that dude, but it was Andrew Bynum with 10. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, he was at one time, man, Andrew Bynum was the truth at one time. Literally
For a very
just
short
one time.
Yeah, what? 2, maybe 3 years
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, I mean the championship windows, and then after that his knees gave out on him. And I mean, he didn't want to play basketball anyway.
It's like a 15-year cycle where we kind of churn through small forwards and shooting guards. Like, the old greats are replaced by the new greats.
Mhm.
Centers, it's like every 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, now the league's got some, like Jokic, Embiid,
Dude, Jokic, man.
Gobert. Jokic is legit.
Jokic is so ridiculous, man.
He's pretty good. He
also looks like he
any
doesn't
other
care.
player.
He looks like he does not care every time. But then you look at his stats and you're like, wait, he had 27 and 15? Like, when did he? Yeah, he's good. Dude, they're going to be Denver. They get back Jamal Murray. I want Bubble Murray back.
Murray's good.
Yeah, dude, Bubble Murray, man.
Dude, that was honestly, that was some of the best basketball I've ever watched. Like him and Donovan Mitchell going back and back. I could not stop watching that.
Yeah.
That was a really good series.
It was so good.
It was just so refreshing because you hadn't seen those guys on that stage before.
Different, seeing someone else, yeah.
Yeah, and just watching a playoff battle like that between two of the best scorers in the league, young guys.
And Murray was just unconscious, just not even thinking, just pulling up. Like there was a couple plays, like he had a fast break, just pull up for a three, and it was money. God, dude, he was Bubble Murray. I put Bubble Murray up against almost anybody, dude. He was
Bubble Murray versus Dwyane Wade.
Bro, he did the one Michael Jordan play on Bron where he brought it down, and oh my God, he was the real deal. Dude, I like that Denver Nuggets team, dude. If they come back healthy next year, I don't think they'll beat the Lakers, but it'll be a series for sure. Yeah, I like them, man. I hope they stay together. I hope they don't try to ruin it. You know they are. If they're going to ruin it, get rid of Michael Porter Jr. and bring in Bradley Beal. Let's go for it.
They got to get Bill out of Washington.
Yeah, dude. I feel so bad for Bradley Beal. But, all right. So, Dwyane Wade, 3-time All-Defense, 8-time All-NBA team. Scoring champion, 2008-2009. 2006 final stats, 34.7, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.7 steals, 1.0 blocks. And so then after that, though, in 2015-2016, he's averaging 19, 4 and 4. 2016-2017, he's a free agent. He wants to stay with Miami. He's been with Miami his whole career.
I thought he wanted out.
Contract negotiations did not go well.
There it is. Okay.
There it is. So he thought he was worth a certain amount of money. And Miami, and let's be real, they were right. You know, like, let's just say, like, they were like, no, you're not worth that anymore. However, got to be loyal to your guys. That guy brought you 3 championships. You don't win 3 rings.
You don't let a guy like that just walk out.
I mean, they did it with Kobe. That's just what the NBA does. A guy gives you 15 years of his life. He could have won anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's another $5 million? You're going to get another player with $5 million. You know, it's just crazy. But he ends up going to Chicago, where he still puts up pretty nothing. But the problem is, man, that team did make no sense. Rondo was the point guard. Jimmy Butler and Dwyane Wade, there was no shooting whatsoever on that team. It's kind of, I don't know why they did that. But they almost beat the Celtics in the first round. Remember, Rondo got injured. That's the only reason why they didn't beat him. They were up 2-0. They won the first 2 games in Boston. And then Rondo gets hurt. And then
D Rose was hurt?
D Rose was hurt. And I forgot who. D Rose was hurt. No. D Rose was off the team at this time. He was on the Knicks, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he got traded. And then they had Rondo as a starting point guard. And remember Isaiah Thomas, and Rondo's a big guard. And so Isaiah Thomas is having all sorts of problems. Then Rondo gets hurt and Isaiah goes off. And then they
That's
end
when
up.
he had his moment of fame.
Yeah. That's when playoff Rondo, like, there's always been playoff Rondo, but that year it was like, holy smokes, like, playoff Rondo's real.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like if Rondo would have stayed healthy, they'd have got smacked by Cleveland. You know, like, let's be real. But it would have been more interesting. I wish we could have seen Dwyane Wade and LeBron in the playoffs, or Dwyane Wade and Kobe.
Yeah. That would
have been nice.
Yeah.
That would have been Dwyane's opportunity to. We're talking about how he was overshadowed by those 2 guys. But if he would have won a playoff series,
it would have been. It'd
Just
have been
slightly
great.
different
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. 2017, 2018 he gets traded to Cleveland.
We don't talk about those
Yeah,
years.
those years don't really count
No.
if we're being real.
Yeah.
11.4 points, 4-4. His role was different in Cleveland. I think he was coming off the bench. He really didn't fit. It wasn't a good trade.
That wasn't a great team.
No, that team was old. They were slow. They just weren't good. So they had to ship him out of town. Miami took him back, and he basically finished off the rest of his career in Miami. His last year, 2018, 2019, he averaged 15, 4-4.
I feel like he could still play if he did like what Melo did. After a while, like just became a bench player.
Yeah.
Less minutes, less wear and tear.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think he wanted that though.
No, I don't think so. I think he had a lot of stuff going on too. Like he's done a couple documentaries. He did a game show, The Cube, something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was cool though, man. Like when you saw him on the court, he was so cool.
Yeah.
Some people just like they're like, all right, I accomplished what I wanted to. Let's move on.
Yeah. That's why Bill Russell said Bill Russell only played 13 years, won 11 championships.
It's ridiculous.
Retired 1969, and they interviewed him about him like he's like 80 something now, and he was like, I played the exact amount of games I was meant to play, none too few, none too more. I was like, man, that's got to be good if you know. Like he said, he couldn't get the fire going the way he used to.
Yeah.
He won it 11 times. I mean,
not much is going to excite you after that.
When people, it's kind of a shame that there's not a lot of footage on Bill Russell because everyone that actually saw him play, and there's not a lot of them because most of them are passed away by now, but everyone that saw him play, they all hold him in such a regard that it's hard for me to do. Like, I see the 11 rings, I'm like, yeah, he was, you have to be great to win that many rings and be the best player on the team. But the stats just do not support, 17 points a game when Wilt had a season averaging 50, Can
we talk about Wilt next episode?
Yeah, dude, we can do it. I don't even got to do any research for that one.
No,
I pretty much know every Wilt Chamberlain stat.
I just got to pull up the career highlights and we'll just go rapid fire.
Yeah,
maybe that's when we start getting more subscribers.
I don't know, man. I don't
Probably not.
I honestly just think that they disrespect a lot of the guys who, it's so easy to like look at a guy like Giannis and go like, oh yeah, he's gonna, he's already ahead. Yeah, but the problem is like, some of these guys that played back in the day, just because you didn't see them play, like they were still getting buckets, like, and they could still get, like Kareem, you could drop Kareem in right now, and I don't think Kareem would break a sweat. Like I think he would still put up the numbers,
especially with the big men we have right now.
I mean, it's an automatic 2 points every time.
Dude, we should go Wilt, then Kareem.
I think so, man.
Dude, we should just do it.
Then Jordan.
Dude, our channel
start Jordan. Yeah, dude, it's not doing good.
We got to go back to back to back with just like the GOATs.
Yeah. Now, we do need to do something on Wilt probably coming up because he's...
Dude, I say, Wilt, Kareem. No, we want to do Lou Cinder, right?
Yeah, Lou Alcindor,
Lou Alcindor.
Or, Lou Alcindor is...
Lou Al Cinder. Yeah. And then maybe do somebody after that and then finish up? Or do you want to just go straight into Kareem?
Well, the problem with doing Lou,
mix it up again in different sports?
The problem with doing Lou is after his second year, he turned into Kareem. So it's like, but I think we could
that is tough.
We could do Lou Alcindor and just do his Bucks years, and then do Kareem and do his Lakers years.
I feel like we should just do one on Kareem.
Yeah, we should probably just do one and just make it like a fucking 2-hour episode because man, there's.
But I mean, if you want to talk about Lou Alcindor, you could talk about. Who's on those Bruins teams, right? UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, he was.
All those championships.
Yeah, 3 straight championships.
We never talk about college basketball.
We don't.
There you go.
We don't. And to say he's not the greatest college basketball player of all time is just a lie.
Dude, some people were saying Tyler Hansbrough.
Dude, they are out of their mind.
And don't get me wrong, great college player. Did not translate to the NBA, but great college
player, but no Kareem.
Man.
Dog, Kareem, they literally made a no dunking rule in college and called it the Luau Cinder rule. You know you're a GOAT if they have to change the game. He lost 2 games the whole time he was in college. When he was a freshman, he redshirted his freshman year because they didn't let freshmen play, which is kind of crazy because now they all freshmen. But
leave too.
during practice, the freshman team went up against the varsity team, and Kareem dropped like 26 and 15, and they beat the varsity team. His freshman year, they win 3 straight titles, only lose 2 games. He was the greatest high school player. Only lost 4 games the whole time he was in high school.
Dude.
And he played one of the games. I think he had like an eye patch on or some shit. Like, it was crazy, dude. He was a beast. I love Kareem. I thought about this the other day. I wanted to bring it up. They said I was listening to a guy because they were talking about the greatest Lakers of all time, and someone said Kareem as the center, and then someone said no, it's 2001 Shaq. 2001 Shaq's the most dominant player I've ever seen, and the guy said Kareem is the Jay-Z of basketball. He is the most successful basketball player there's ever been, but he's not the greatest. And I was like, damn. I mean, it's hard to argue that, really, because he is the most successful basketball player. We're
talking about like analogies don't always work.
I know.
Like, we're talking about music versus basketball. In basketball, success aligns with greatness. In music, success aligns with commercial appeal. That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you can have one-hit wonders all day long.
You can.
And be successful.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say he's the greatest ever. Just because, I've seen LeBron. And and there's a lot of stuff that we just forget. Like, because it happened 20 years, close to 20 years, you just kind of forget. But, dude, when you look at his body of work, and, if he breaks that scoring record.
Do you think it hurts him not going to college and winning?
Who, Bron? Nah. I think Bron could have went into the league at 16. I think Kareem could have went into the league.
Clearly, he could have gone to the league at 16. He came straight in, averaged like 20.
You're talking about the most hyped athlete there's ever been, and he lived up to it. Everyone else would have failed, but Bron didn't. Like, it's kind of crazy.
A lot of mental toughness.
They were filming his games in high school and charging people pay-per-views to watch him. It is insane. He signed a $100 million shoe deal before he even stepped foot on the NBA court. He was labeled the chosen one, and he lived up to all of it. It's crazy, dude.
When are we doing that?
Dude, I want to so bad. Dude, these people on...
We can do a Cleveland... We can do a Cleveland one since he's still playing.
Yeah. Oh, I suggested that in the group chat, and it got shot down pretty fast. So
I don't even remember you suggesting.
I do.
Yeah. You did.
He's still playing. Does that count?
Yeah.
Oh. Nah, dude, let's do it. We're going for broke, man. We're
man. We got.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think doing LeBron. Well, it might. Who knows, dude? I have no idea how this algorithm stuff works.
Dude, we're having fun. That's all.
Yeah, we're having fun. If anything, it's a way for us to hang out because Lord knows we never hang out.
We don't see each other.
No.
It was like, let's do a podcast, and now we're hanging out once a week.
Yeah, I know, dude. You guys are texting me about it, like, "Hey, when we gonna do this?" I'm like, "All right, guys."
I'm a lot more invested than I thought I was.
Yeah, man.
No offense.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's not bad. If anything, it's just...
No, I agree. I know I'm making jokes about the number of viewers, but as long as we're having fun,
yeah,
cool.
I think so. I like our setup. I like what we're doing. Well, I hate the equipment. Let's get rid of it.
Dude, the equipment.
That's
And I'm not saying we gotta buy more expensive equipment, but
not until we start seeing some checks in the mail. Oh my God! Now I hope we get this copyright stuff figured out. But
Sam, you got to put your music on it now. I like to.
Dude, are we gonna use it?
I think
I don't care. Sam's now our editor, so that's set in stone.
Dude,
if you hate it, it's his fault.
Did you ever did you listen to it?
No, I did not. I was in South
We'll
Dakota.
figure it out.
Right.
That little clip I liked.
Yeah.
Who was Dwyane Wade's best teammate?
Bron.
It was Bron, yeah.
Who did he have on his team after Shaq and before that super team? Because I don't know anyone other than Haslam.
Shaq was there until...
Because Shaq went to LeBron before LeBron went to the Heat, right?
But he went to...
Boston, too.
No, that was after.
Suns?
He went, Suns, right? He went to Suns after Miami.
So who was on his team between that? Between like Shaq leaving and LeBron coming? Because all I know is
Antoine Walker? I don't know. Antoine Walker averaged
That's like
as many
just a dead
points.
period.
Yeah, he averaged as many points as Shaq did in that finals.
Shaq was on like 13 or something.
Yeah, like 14 and 10, like 13.7 and 10, I think. But he was getting,
Was he already on his decline?
Oh, for sure. He was on his decline to last year with the Lakers. Like he showed up in the finals, but that was also a period of time where there was like no big man that could hang with him because David Robinson got old.
That was like year 12 already for him, right? 2006.
Yeah. Dude, what about there was a pretty cool story about Shaq in the All-Star game. So he went into the All-Star game, and I guess at that point Shaq had started becoming famous. And Shaq, he cared more about like his persona than he did actual basketball.
Shaq could do anything he
wanted. Shaq could do anything he wanted. And he goes into the All-Star game, and I think it's like David Robinson, like Hakeem, and they're all like, we're going to teach this guy a lesson. Like Shaq has like 2 points in the All-Star game because they're playing like rough defense on him. Later on that year.
Wait, what year was that?
It was like in the 90s.
Mid-90s.
Oh.
Yeah. And later on that year, Shaq's going for the scoring title. David Robinson's like right behind him. David Robinson, in a game that don't matter, dropped 71 last game of the season just so Shaq can't get the scoring title. Dude, David Robinson was all-time petty, and I'm here for it. Like, dude, I love stories like that where guys are just going at each other. And Shaq dropped like 37 that night, but it just wasn't enough. Like, David Robinson, dude, he was...
No one talks about him enough either.
We got to do one on him, man. I want to do one on Bill Walton. Like, but, we got
the non-commentary part.
The worst commentator. Him and Mark Jackson, dude. Mark Jackson, I told him, like, Mark Jackson, when he, like, whenever it's like a big play and it's like late in the game, and Mark Jackson, like, the coach would be talking to his team, and he'd be like, and this is where it's simple. You got to want it more. it's like, all right, Mark. And then Jeff Van Gundy's like, they need to run this style of offense. They need to set a back screen. Like, he's doing all this, and then Mark Jackson's like, throw all that out the window. You just gotta want it more. Oh, Mark Jackson,
dude, I cannot stand. I can't stand. Like, it'd be one thing if I knew that Mark Jackson was just like an entertainer or something. Yeah, he wasn't a basketball expert. The dude was a great head coach. I know he has more to say. He keeps it in.
You know who else is bad at commentary?
Who?
Magic Johnson. You go back to those 90s games when he's doing commentary.
Yeah, I never listened to those. But...
You would think he has never seen basketball, doesn't understand.
Is he just like Mark Jackson?
It's that bad. But it's also like, there was a play. I remember watching it. It was 93 when the Suns were playing the Chicago Bulls in the finals. Charles Barkley's having like the game of his life. Like, he is going off. He's got like 25 and 13 and like 10 assists. Like, and in the fourth quarter with like a minute left, you hear Magic Johnson go, someone needs to get the ball to Tom Chambers. And it's like, Magic, what are you talking about? Why wouldn't you get it to Charles Barkley?
That's how Magic thought, though, man. He averaged like 10 assists.
He did.
For his career.
He did, but man, it was
Tom Chambers his old teammate or something.
I don't even know what you would call Tom Chambers. I'd never heard of him before. And I was just sitting there listening, like, man, like Bill Walton's like that too. When he's
got a unique voice as well.
I was watching the 2002 playoffs where Sacramento played the Lakers. Yeah, in that game 7. The whole time Bill Walton's like, where is Bobby Jackson? He kept saying that. I'm like, dude, do you not know Chris Webber is on this team? Like, why would you want Bobby Jackson to touch the ball? And of course, Bobby Jackson gets the ball, jacks up a terrible one, misses, and Bill's like, well, at least he's being aggressive. I'm like, all right, Bill. Dude, these commentators, man, I like listening to the commentators and like actually listening to what they say, because dude, Mike Breen back in like 2016 when he was calling the finals games, was pitching a 130-mile-an-hour fastball. Just what a block by James! Like,
Dude, I mean, do you think that there's room for not play-by-play guys? Play-by-play guys are always the best. Play-by-play guys are always going to be the guys who bring that energy. Right?
Yeah.
But for color analysts, do you think there's room in the future for like people who don't nerds? Let's say
I think
basketball nerds who really never played at a super high level, but are just really into the analytics and are also entertaining. Like, do you think there's room for that? Because to me, like, that brings more to the table than some of these coaches and players who, like, you've got more to say, but you're not saying anything.
Don't most of those become coaches?
I mean, sure, they could be a former coach, but I'm talking about somebody who maybe necessarily didn't do any of that and is just extremely interested in the analytics. I mean, those guys are typically reserved for, like, you know, maybe some shows on ESPN and then, like, some podcasts, but they're never... They just don't have the resume, air quotes, to get that job. But I feel like they'd bring more to the table than somebody like Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of times, like when I love when Jeff Van Gundy's on there, and you could just tell, even though I
like him.
I think Jeff Van Gundy has like that same mindset of like an athlete, or like the same vision that. Maybe not as high of a basketball IQ as like LeBron or someone, but I think his basketball IQ is clearly high. He's just not 6'6". You know, he's a short white guy. So it's like those guys still understand basketball. They just can't play it.
Exactly. Like just because you didn't play, like playing at a high level obviously has to do, like you have to have a certain amount of basketball IQ, but more than that, it's your athleticism and your physical tools, right?
Yeah.
So
you have to be
like... The greatest players and the greatest coaches don't have to always be the commentators that we shove down everybody's throat.
That's true. It's just
But
tough.
a lot of it is name recognition too, celebrity status.
Tony Romo is pretty damn good.
He's good.
Tony Romo, but I mean he's like
good.
You can tell he's cerebral. I mean, like
he's charismatic too.
Yeah, he's
like,
very charismatic.
I like him. I mean, it's hard. You know, sometimes you listen to who's the other guy who's on there.
Joe Buck.
No. I'm talking about he's the old quarterback.
Chris Collinsworth
for Dallas.
Oh, Troy.
Yeah, Troy Aikman. Like, dude, like you listen to him, and you're like, man, how many concussions has this guy had? Like, you know, but like you hear the way, who was the guy you just? Yeah, Romo. You hear the way he breaks down the game. You hear the way Troy Aikman breaks it down. You're like, damn, dude.
Way different.
Like Tony Romo should have a couple rings. Like he understands. Like I listen because I learned stuff because I don't know a lot about football, so I don't know.
I mean, those two there just go to show you the difference between how players can be commentators.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying players can't be commentators.
I feel like Peyton Manning.
I'm just saying, like, let's not put players and coaches up there that don't say anything. And
Mark Jackson doesn't have much of a personality.
Like a bunch of cliches.
Keep Chris Webber away from a hot mic.
Yes.
Holy smokes, he's bad. Reggie Miller's kind of rough too. Reggie Miller is better. I like Grant Hill though.
They have more personality though than Mark Jackson. He just talks bored.
Mark Jackson just has a New York accent. I feel like that's like the best thing going for him.
A dude to go up for like a fast break layup, and you know, typically like the commentator be like, "Oh, as we see the layup by whoever," and Chris Webber be like, "You know, I remember a time when we were playing 1-on-1, and he looks at me and he says," and it's just like he goes on this like long story. And Mike Breen's just like. All right, you know, Chalmers has the ball with him. Chris Webber did. It's pretty rough. We got to do one on Chris Webber too because he had a disappointing career. He should have been.
He also left early too, didn't he?
Yeah. He left the Warriors after 1 year. They gave him that massive contract and then a clause where he could opt out after 1 year.
And he did. Went there.
Yeah, he went there. He got drafted by them. Well, he got drafted by another team, and then they trade the draft rights. But Chris Webber, in his prime, was with 45 minutes in a game, he was a beast. The last 3 minutes, he was horrendous. He really wanted no part of the spotlight. But yeah, man, Dwyane Wade. Dwayne Wade. Look, I love Dwayne Wade. I mean,
We're gonna get some like transition music.
we do.
Just so it's not so abrupt.
Dwayne Wade, for the large part of my basketball watching life, I would say he's probably my second or third favorite player. Orlando Dwight Howard is my second favorite player. I mean, I've never seen someone as dominant. That was my Shaq. Like, I was like, dude, this dude cannot be stopped. And then he spent the next 10 years being stopped every play. But make no mistake, kids don't remember that Orlando Dwight Howard. That dude was on his way to becoming
dunk contest and everything.
He was he was more athletic than Shaq, in shape, better rebounder, better defender. But then he got injured, and then Kobe kind of messed with him a little bit. Kobe said, like, there was like, do you regret anything you did with Dwight Howard? He's like, look, I spent my whole life with it. I'm not handing the keys over to a franchise to someone like that. I was like, whoa.
Savage.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Dwayne Wade, it's unfortunate that his career kind of got overshadowed a little bit, but make no mistake, prime Dwayne Wade, he wasn't in the backseat that much. It was neck and neck. He was about 06 to 2010.
Off the top of my head, man, it feels like he should be a top 25 NBA player of all time.
I'm not going to argue with you. I think there's a fair argument for him being top 25. Yeah, I think so. When you look at this 6'4", he wasn't tall. Well, he was tall, but he's not like crazy tall. Athletic.
That's just an inch taller than Curry. Look how
clutch.
Curry looks.
Led a team to an NBA Finals and a championship. His second best player averaged 13.7 points per game. There was only 2 players on the team averaging 10 plus points a game, other than Dwayne Wade. Like, he legitimately carried a team to a championship, and that's something that rarely gets done. His one ring.
He was young too.
His
Plenty
one
of
ring.
players in the top 25 that couldn't do that.
Exactly. His one ring with Miami is more special than those 2 rings with Kevin Durant.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not even close. Dude, you saw the way Giannis was reacting after he won a ring. It's like, and then you see the way Kevin Durant reacted, and it's like, that's the difference between someone earning it and then someone just jumping ship. And it's, it's like that one ring LeBron won for Cleveland. Like, that one ring was more important.
By far.
Yeah. Like, when you saw the emotion come out of him, you realize, like, man, that dude had been carrying that weight. And he didn't even want to carry it. They just gave it to him. It was like, here, this is yours now. And, I mean, if he wouldn't have brought a ring back to Cleveland, I mean.
Who knows where his legacy would be.
I mean, he'd still probably be. He'd probably still figure it out. But, yeah, he'd be all right. All right. Well, hey, look, that's it from us, right? Y'all got anything to add?
Nah, I think we're good.
Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'll
come on,
read
guys.
your
Like
comments.
and subscribe, goddammit.
Hey, I
Sam's gonna fight you.
This is fucking bullshit.
I will read every comment there's ever been. So, and I will read it on the podcast.
Let us know if you want.
We said the next commenter can join the podcast. Do you guys not like us? Clearly, you don't because you're not watching us.
That's all right though, because
we have
after the storm,
Nope.
something.
I was waiting for you to inspire me.